the Electoral Commission of Zambia. A lot of people and stakeholders are wondering whether from the start to the finish, the electoral process will be as free and fair as ECZ states. We do have political parties in the studio right about now to discuss and debate this pertinent issue, whether there are indicators of having free and fair elections coming 12th August 2021. My name is CHIKATULA, and of course, joining me with this particular debate, I do have Mr. Shawa, who is the NAREP Lusaka Province Treasurer. Welcome to Blunt Talk.
Thank you so much.
All right. And also joining the discussion, we also do have Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, who is the Secretary General for the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, who is with the UPND Alliance. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
All right. And also joining us as well, we do have Mr. Enoch Mr. Jones CHIKATULA, who is the Vice President of the Third Liberation Movement. Welcome to Blunt Talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, great. Let's get directly into it. But before I do so, let me give you just the basic rules that we're going to follow, even as we get to debate with this particular pertinent issue. We all have 3 minutes each to debate and give your answers to the questions that I'll be giving you this evening. And also, if you have a counter reaction that you're going to have either from one of you have 3 minutes. In that particular 3 minutes that you're going to respond, you're going to also respond to the counter reaction. And you only speak through the moderator. You do not answer to the other political party. You only speak through me, CHIKATULA, who is the moderator. Let's begin with Mr. Shawa, who is from NAREP, the Lusaka Province Treasurer. Are you satisfied with the electoral process so far?
Not as yet. I'm not yet convinced these people are ready to do that which they are required to do. In short, we haven't seen much from them that has to do with preparation or preparing the ground for the forthcoming general elections in August.
What are the lacunas that you've seen?
There are so many questions that they have failed to answer, especially when it comes to issues with balancing the way they're doing things with the ruling party and us who are in the opposition.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you clearly point out 3 things that you've seen that is wrong with the electoral process by the Electoral Commission of Zambia?
You see, we were expecting voter registration to take its part or to go well and given enough chance for people to register. They failed to live up to that. The second one is that there are so many excuses as to why they wouldn't do that, owing to a few things that were not very vital to us, who are in the opposition. Yeah.
What vital things are those, Mr. Shawa?
You see, there are a lot of questions as to why there were so many discrepancies in the numbers that they were giving as to how many people have registered against those that those that were on the paper. To mention, but only that at least.
All right. What other things apart from the numbers?
Apart from the numbers, there are a lot. There are a lot.
All right. Clearly point out, Mr. Shawa, you still have a minute.
Oh, yeah. You see, the issues and rumors that these people even allowed other peoples who are who are out of our locality, that is Zambia, to also register as voters. On that part, we are saying it's a very big failure on their part to have done that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shawa from the NAREP Lusaka Province Treasurer. Let's quickly get to Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, who is the Secretary General of the RPP, which is in the UPND Alliance as well. Are you satisfied with the electoral process so far?
Well, The electoral process, really, for the first time, it's been a sham because we've had quite a number of elections. First of all, we should point out to say it's a sham in the sense that, look, their target was to register 9 million voters. Do we then ask ourselves, as Zambian people, that what were the reasons that they didn't reach the target? It's because the planning stage and the entire process did not plan according to a technical advice that were being offered to them. Really, the entire process was a sham. Secondly, you can imagine that under an electoral act, it was just a basic principle, the fact that they did not reach the intended target. Under an electoral act, there was supposed to have been a continuous voters registration. But up to now, instead, they jumped the gun. What have they ended up doing? They've literally not done that. Thirdly, you see, it's a sham in the sense that the entire process has not reached out to the aspirations of the Zambian people. It's the first time that we're experiencing the electoral process, that there hasn't been, after the registration process, there could have been an audit report where has they've gone wrong and what could have happened and the reasons why they didn't reach the intended purpose. Today, they've started the voters verification process. So really, they've not reached according to the aspirations of the people. So suffice to say, the confidence that the Zambian people on the electoral process, at which the Zambian people look up to, it hasn't been well done. And these maneuvers, you would wonder whether the aspiration of the Zambian people are expected to reach an extended path.
Does this deteriorate the trust that Zambians should have in the Electoral Commission of Zambia?
I can tell you the stakeholders literally have lost confidence in the electoral process. Reasons being, as highlighted in the few issues that I've raised. Because you only get confidence from amongst the political players if they are engaged in that sort of a process. But what we've observed, it hasn't been there. It was never there. So really, it doesn't give confidence to the political players in this whole process because, one, the other stakeholders have not been involved at a certain stage. All
right. Thank you so much. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Let's get quickly to Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA, who is the Vice President of the Third Liberation Movement. Are you satisfied with the electoral process so far?
Not at all. First of all, thank you very much. To answer your question, not at all. Thank you very much for this opportunity, for inviting us to this forum. As Muvi TV, we are always humbled as a party, the Third Liberation Movement. We are not satisfied in the sense that, first thing, the Electoral Process Act has been violated. How has it been violated? Is in the sense that as we build up to the general elections, stakeholders were supposed to be engaged all the time, at each and every stage. That's what the Electoral Process Act stipulates. First thing. Secondly, we start with the nomination fees itself. It's a very, very unfair kind of way of doing things, where vis-a-vis the electoral process and everything is concerned, because it has knocked off a lot of contenders vis-a-vis the opposition political parties and also independent members who may wish to contest the elections in this case. So the nomination fee itself, as eliminated, is inappropriate. It's not fair to start with. Secondly, the issue of voter education is not being conducted now. At this stage where we are, it was supposed to be intensified. as far as the opposition political parties are concerned. And also when you look at the ruling party, they are already campaigning. The PF are already campaigning. The ECZ has not given a go-ahead for all of us at the opposition to go flat out and campaign. The head of state is busy giving out bicycles today, everywhere. That on its own is a sign of vote buying, which is against the Electoral Process Act itself, in the name of presidency, in the name of empowerment. Why didn't they start, immediately after 2016, start giving bicycles? But they have decided to give bicycles today. Then the electoral body is there watching in the name of the ruling party. That is the unfair environment we are referring to. Secondly, the members of parliament, those who are aspiring members of parliament from the ruling party, they are all over. And I haven't seen any opposition aspiring candidate wooing up support in that manner, moving each and every street, causing traffic jam. Even when we go to Mwense, we go to Kaputa, we go wherever, the trend is just the same. So the environment is very, very unfair for us, the opposition political parties.
All right, great. And I did notice at the time, said a bit late to tick, but your 3 minutes is done. Now, you have all pointed out to say there are a lot of lacunas in the electoral process. There are a lot of leakages in the electoral process, and it seems to be unfair to the opposition, that is everyone who is coming from the opposition, which is you, of course. Now, does this kind of infringe Zambia having free and fair elections? And maybe, do you think that there could be some future of having free and fair elections if those things that you've talked about are worked on? Let's start with Mr. Evans Shawa from NAREP.
Going by what we have seen so far, there is no way we are going to have free and fair elections. The reasons are very simple, and this is seen every day. We started seeing this last year, and more of it is happening this time around. This is almost, I would refer it to a race, where you are supposed to start at the same time, and then somebody is being dragged back, and then another one is given a chance to go on. And this is where we are today. The PF is busy campaigning. Everywhere you go, they are dishing out monies, they're dishing out their regards, they're doing everything. In short, there is a lot of vote buying. Because they are ahead of everything. They have the money, they have everything at their disposal. Unfortunately also, you find that when us who are in the opposition want to do the same, a lot of things will arise from that. One, there's a lot of bullying going on. And it has gone to an extent where if they find you, especially the cadres, they bounce on you, and then you won't report that anywhere. You would report it, but no, that issue won't be taken anywhere. That kind of environment has brought about voter apathy. I've been going out and talking to people.
But you do realize that even the bullying is coming from the opposition team as well.
You know,
we can cite a lot of examples of the opposition also engaging into violence.
Those don't know what they're doing. They're into this game not knowing what it is that is supposed to happen or what it is that they're supposed to do. There is no way you can start bullying people, beating up people. It doesn't make sense. What we want is a Zambia, a peaceful Zambia. People have to elect someone into power on merit.
How do we quickly get to a point where we have free and fair elections?
You see, all the people, all the parties involved must come to realization that free and fair elections are a recipe of what? A democracy.
How do we get there?
It's very simple. Come together. Reason together. what is it that you're supposed to do for our mother Zambia? For everyone to live in an environment that is good, that is serene. It's about talking, dialogue.
Dialogue it is. All right, thank you so much for your time. And of course, let's get to the Vice President for Third Liberation Movement, Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA. And of course, same question goes to you. What should ECZ do to gain the trust of the political opposition parties in trying to push the agenda of having a free and fair elections?
Thank you very much. What ECZ is supposed to do is, first of all, they should be engaging enough. At the moment, the current Electoral Commission of Zambia is not engaging. First thing, no doubt about it. I'm sure even the public, the viewers will agree with me.
But well, we've had a lot of reports saying that they're meeting different, political parties in that process.
Which political party have they ever met?
We had
because we are a political party. This is not the first election that we are participating in.
Mr. Enoch Jones, are you trying to say that the president was lying to the diplomats? He did mention that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is meeting the opposition, actually, that Mr. Cassius Akapelwa is in alliance with.
It's true. The president was not telling the truth. I need to be very magnanimous and very honest.
Are you trying to say the president was lying?
He was not telling the truth.
You're trying to say the president is a liar?
No, I'm saying he was not telling the truth. I don't understand if he was a liar or not, but what I'm saying is he was not telling the truth. And this is not the first time the president hasn't told the truth. Just recently he was telling everything in Zambia is okay, the economy is fine, when people are starving, when people are going to bed without food. So I wouldn't say that the president was lying, but he didn't say the truth. Because which political parties as the Electoral Commission has ever engaged? I don't know, maybe my colleagues can attest to that they've been engaged, as we are not considered, maybe. But as things stands today, as the situation stands, the Electoral Commission is not engaging enough. Because they're telling Zoom, virtual, they don't understand the environment in which we exist as opposition political parties. Someone can engage a meeting on Zoom. Do they know me? Did they confirm that I've got a smartphone for me to be on Zoom? You understand, eh? Those are the issues that we need to consider. This is a serious matter. An election is a serious situation in our country. It's a life drawing painful situation that we cannot overlook. So this is what we were supposed to understand first. We were supposed to engage political parties amongst the officials who has the smartphones so that they can attend meetings on Zoom. But for us, some of us who don't have, look at the phone that I've got. It has got no WhatsApp, it has got no Zoom, but they want to engage me on Zoom.
Mr. CHIKATULA,
and they call it that is engaging?
We are living in the new normal.
No, which new normal?
Things are going cyber now.
Which new normal are you talking? Are you referring to? No, we are not. We are not of the new normal. We are not of the new normal. This is an election. An election should not go with the new normal. How many people? You mean if you've called us today here? We are just three of us. What was so difficult for us is that we engage three political parties, all the political parties with the social distance, and engage up, in the physical way.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA. Your time is up. Thank you so much. Same question to you, Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, the Secretary General of RPP, the Republican Progressive Party, who is in an alliance with UPND. I have to emphasize that point because a lot of questions are coming up. But what should ECZ do to trust, to bring back the trust from the opposition political parties like you?
First of all, I would want to concur with what my colleagues have alluded to. Really, for the Zambian people to have confidence in the electoral process, I think it's all about engagement with the major stakeholders, who are the opposition political parties. But when an institution, as it is, you take a partisan role, it's a reason why none of us here would agree with the principle at which the ECZ has outlined on how they should conduct the electoral processes. So really, that said, I think the morale booster that the ECZ is supposed to rather roll out to the main stakeholders has literally, it's the first time in the electoral process that we've noticed ECZ playing more or less like a partisan role. You understand that there are political players involved in this. All that you see, like my colleague is saying, under the new normal, the health guidelines are very direct for us to apply. Each political party can invite the main strategic position holders, the Secretary General, the President of the political party. Under the new normal, you can wear a mask. There's social distancing. But what is ECZ doing? Zoom, sometimes with this network and these laws that they are now putting across the cyber security bills that have already been assented to. We do not know their motive really. So really, frankly speaking, ECZ should start a process of engaging the stakeholders, because if there's going to be a clear-cut, well-level playing field, it will even, the citizens and the main stakeholders who have confidence in the electoral system. As it is right now, comrade, I must hasten and tell you to say, really, the confidence is not there. You and I know this is the first time that we're experiencing such kind of the process that is literally, and literally a sham. You understand? Literally a sham. Already starting from the process of registration is a sham. Engagement of stakeholders is a sham. Why should you keep on having stakeholders forever complaining when the process, the Electoral Act, is literally there for them to apply as it should be? But we are not experiencing that. So really, it's, as I'm seated here, I'm failing to understand the level-headedness and the thinking of the executive officers at ECZ.
All right. Thank you so much for your answer. Coming to speak of not understanding, of course, people would think that one should have a certain level of education for them to understand. And of course, ECZ did, and Concord ruling as well, did really make mention that grade 12 qualifications should be put in place for people to aspire for leadership. What's your reaction to that as the opposition party? Let me start with you, Mr. Cassius Akapelwa. What is your reaction to that?
Well,
do you also think maybe, let me add one more question. Do you also think this could deteriorate the aspect of having a free and fair election?
Well, I do not have a problem personally, or rather as RPP, where a grade 12 is mandatory for one to aspire, as a major qualification for one to aspire for leadership. As much as with all due respect, we respect that education is an anchorage to ensure that people have a wider spectrum of understanding. However, we cannot relate leadership to qualifications. As we are right now, we have the most educated leaders in the PF. What have they done to the economy?
No, they're saying the economy is well. The president did say that he would laugh if
comrade,
people say that the economy is bad.
You cannot feel the bad part if all in your home all is well. And it's very sad that these leaders that we have at present moment, they are behaving as though they don't realize where they are coming from. How would you even go on a mountain and make those pronouncements that the economy is well? What's the inflation rate today? It's over 22%. What's the exchange rate today? It's over, pardon? Over, and everything has gone double. And then you want to stand on the mountain and preach the economy is doing fine. Which economy do they live in? It's a very sad affair, and it's a very sad reading. You cannot make such pronouncements. Comrade, I've always said on every platform, this government, what they've failed to do is to prioritize the common man. They are busy putting up all these concrete mountains. Imagine you even go and parade people at Chawama, this concrete mountain that we see, that to me, I have traveled, I have been privileged to go to other countries. That flyover bridge, what solutions does it offer and that makes economic sense? Literally nothing. Then you go across the road, comrade. There's misses there.
They could say improving the infrastructure, which is part of development.
It still comes back to misplaced priorities. You cannot put up such a concrete building there, and across the road, the same people that you are parading to come and rejoice and celebrate. Look at their water reticulation system across the road. Look at the kind of housing units they are coming from. The poor Zambians, you take advantage of their education levels and come and make them jog on a mountain that will only benefit the elite. Then you want to go on a mountain and celebrate economic turnaround. Really.
All right, your time is up. And of course, just to make mention, Mr. Musa, of course, today did mention that teachers and policemen are having 3-4 cards, which means that the economy is doing well. But I'll get back to you on that one. Let's go to Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA, who is the Vice President of the Third Liberation Movement. Same question with you, Mr. CHIKATULA. Do you think there should be a level of education in terms of being a leader? Should ECZ put that grade 12 qualification should be there for one to be a leader?
As a political party position, the Third Liberation Movement, we don't agree to that. It's nonsense.
Does it deteriorate having free and fair elections?
No, it doesn't, because a lot of people, there are a lot of leaders, leadership quality individuals, quality leaders have been sidelined because of the grade 12 thing. I can assure you, like my comrade has just mentioned, most of these educated guys also got orders of grade 12. Most of them are not reasonable. Sorry to mention this. Because the way they do, the lifestyle they lead is something that you cannot talk about. You cannot attribute leadership to them, but it will disadvantage, especially the rural folks, because there's no way a grade 12 school certificate order at credit level remain in Shangombo and waiting to aspire for being a councillor there, instead of migrating to the urban areas to look for opportunities. You understand? So these things are disadvantaging the rural folks especially. Secondly, the education thing is just the understanding of things, the understanding of situations. We've had leaders before, the KK cabinet, very few of them, or if none of them, had a grade 12 school certificate, but they managed to put a tarmac up from Lusaka to Jimbe, from Lusaka to Mwami border, which the Patriotic Front today they're failing. They were the one who came up with that law. You understand? So these things, the issue of education is just something to hinder some people. There was an issue of, they all create laws. Laws should be a remedy to create an enabling environment for each and everyone, each and every citizen to thrive and have a better life. But in leadership, all what we need is wisdom and the lobbying, if he's in an opposition like ourselves or the ruling party, to lobby for development, to see people are developed. Then we see that, okay, the issue of qualification is now working. How do you have qualifications when the education system does not allow someone to reach grade 12?
It's too exorbitant.
Yes, look at the amount of the money,
Well,
the fees that
word on the ground, I know you have 17 seconds, but word on the ground is that the Ministry of General Education slashed the fees for the students and for the pupils in general education schools.
Which schools are those?
The general education
And
schools.
now look, go into those schools, see the education standard and the understanding. If you compare grade 12 of my caliber, I completed school in 2000, and someone who completed school last year, even the handwriting, just compare.
Right. Your time is up. Thank you so much for giving us your thought on that. Mr. Evans Shawa from NAREP, same question with you. Do you think having the grade 12 qualification is deteriorating the aspect of ECZ having free and fair elections in Zambia?
It's a two-way answer. One, this one does not help those that have the leadership qualities in them, those that are born leaders. They will be exempted in the development or in taking part in the activities that affect the nation. The other way, the other point is that having a grade 12, the nation thought having a grade 12 certificate guarantees one to have right thoughts. They think having a grade 12 certificate guarantees one, or makes one to be somewhere at a point where they would drive the economy, the nation, to some point. But look at what is happening today. Most of the people that are in the ruling party today, they are University of Zambia graduates, Copperbelt University graduates. What are we seeing today? They failed to drive this nation to its destination. There is poverty all over. There is water where I'm coming from. I'm coming from Chawama. There is water all over. They've done projects that does not conform to the standards of the people that are living that side. Why is this happening? Because they are not engaging everyone in the development of this nation. Grade 12 certificate, to me, I will still go with the point to say it is irrelevant at this point. What Zambia needs is a change of mindset.
How do we change the mindset without changing the education mindset of
the education system has to change. It's not helping us. This thing was given to us in the olden days, and bring it in today's life is not helping. And then people know to say, this thing is not helping, and they've kept quiet, because they know that if we all get educated, we are going to be enlightened in a lot of things. One, we'll be crying for justice openly. Two, anything that goes wrong will be on the ground to criticize the people who we've entrusted our resources with. This thing is a barrier. It's going to create two camps. The rich are going to get richer. The poor are going to get poorer. And this is the situation where we are today. And I want to make mention that these people that were pushing for such an activity really...
Your time is up, Mr. Evans Shawa. But just quickly, maybe summarize what you are trying to say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They might have forgotten, as my comrade alluded to, they might have forgotten to say the salvation that we are going through today in Mrs., in Chawama and elsewhere, that's where they're coming from.
Okay.
That's because they are now in the comfort zone. They've
right.
forgotten about all
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans Shawa. Back to you again. Having free and fair elections is giving the liberty of a political opposition party to join an alliance. We do have Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, who is coming from the Republican Progressive Party, who is in an alliance with UPND. Why have you chosen, as NAREP, not to be in any alliance?
Currently, we have taken that stance, but we are open to any party that would want to come on board and join us. But the thing is, are we matching in principles?
You can't join? Because statistically speaking, and realistically speaking, UPND is the biggest opposition party.
Yeah.
You can't join them?
We may join them, but is that which we believe in? and that which they believe in. Bring us together. At some point, yes, I would say we would want to do that. But we want to check here and there. Is this going to work? Are we fighting that battle with one mind? That's the question. Are we into this for the betterment of the nation? Are we into this wholeheartedly to cover every Zambian? Because some of these opposition parties, you find that they're also siding with the ruling party.
So you feel UPND is siding with the ruling party? Because I specifically asked you about UPND.
Oh, UPND, thank you so much for that correction. UPND, if they want, we can come together and do what they need it for. But at the moment, there's no such thing.
All right. So you feel that you can stand alone as NAREP, and you feel like you can be able to win the 2021 general elections coming 12th August 2021?
Definitely. Whether a party comes to join us with or without them, we are better.
Why do you think the wrangles within the same opposition political parties in an alliance? We just saw the NDC having wrangles, with the UPN, and this is an opposition. They're all opposition, Why is it that way?
They are of different interests. One, some people are into this for money. Some people are into this for a change. And if you people don't agree, what do you expect? We have some people that really want positions, not necessarily being there with a view to make Zambia a better place. What they want is have a position and make use of it for their own benefit. And this is really the problem that is there. You find that the leadership from this camp and the leadership from the other camp, these two can't come together.
All right, thank you so much. Your time is up. Let's go to Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA, who is the Vice President of Third Liberation Movement. Why aren't you in an alliance as Third Liberation Movement?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just stand on that point. I love that question. It's a very nice question. Yeah, as a third liberation movement, my president, Mr. Enoch Roosevelt Tonga, has been very categorical. He's written letters to all political parties to engage them so that we can have an alliance. The challenge that we've got is there is timidness among us opposition political parties. We've got the UPND, we being led by our big man, Mr. Akainde Ichilema, HH. We've written to him. We've written to all opposition political parties. But the thing is understanding and agreeing on one thing. In this case, even in your mind you're thinking, I think all of us as the so-called small political parties should join the UPND. That's not wrong. That's okay. But how do we join the UPND, the big guys? The so-called the big guys in this case. You understand? You cannot just get into a marriage without understanding who you are marrying, what kind of characters that particular woman has or that particular man got. We need to harmonize ourselves. We may have of different characters, but we need to come to a point where we agree and then move forward. For us, that is not a big issue to be in an alliance. Even today or tomorrow can be in an alliance. As long as we agree on one or two things. We are not demanding for a lot of things. We are not demanding to say, no, HH should not be the president. Or whoever we are going to be in alliance with, who is a big person, should not be a president. But all what we need is to redeem Zambia from this current governance system. Because for me as a person, and as a Third Liberation Movement political party and VP, I don't think if we will survive in the next 5 years with a patriotic front if we are not united as the opposition. So all what we expected from all these leaders is the response. But most of them never came up, never showed up, especially the big man.
You wanted them to follow you?
No, we wrote to them. We wanted a response. Even my daddy in my home, I write, oh, daddy, I need a pair of shoes. Even my son writes to me, daddy, I need a pair of shoes. Then I go quiet. Then my son will be in limbo. But at least to say, okay, I don't have money. I can't buy your shoes now. Then that child will understand. That's all what we wanted. But that is not very, very important. Even now, we can still engage and move forward. Our interest is to see these guys please rest and to show them how we should govern the government as alliance or any other political party. But the things being stand the way they are, better if we want to work, then we'll move on and contest an elections as a political party, as a third liberation movement under the president, under the leadership of Enoch Tonga.
All right. Thank you so much. We do appreciate your time is up. And of course, let's get to Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, who is the Secretary General for RPP. You are in an alliance with UPND, and of course, we've seen that there is a lot of opposition political parties in that particular alliance. Doesn't this, first of all, bring in confusion? Would this justify why there are a lot of wrangles amongst yourselves as an alliance?
Well, I don't understand these wrangles where you are attributing the wrangles coming from. I think where there are people that think you expect that there'll always be some generation of misunderstandings. So as you wish to know, that each political party is founded on its own principles, that they would so wish to form government and that they should subscribe to, like my colleague had put it. So as RPP, obviously, we had to look at the principle that the UPND, as the biggest political party in Zambia, the kind of their constitution and all those kind of things, and then we had to marry them with ours. We realized to say we subscribe to almost the same principles. So with the UPND alliance, I think we are good to go, because sometimes you might wish to refer these political parties as small, but with the electoral process, remember, there's always a 50+1. Imagine there's a stalemate. At a certain stage, you need these same political parties you call small, whether you like it or not, for you to reach the threshold. So,
do you feel you're a small political party as RPP?
No, we are a growing political party. You understand? This political party is only 4 years old. So surely, we are growing. And I can tell you that since its formation, we've made a lot of inroads. It's a reason why even you, Muvi TV, are able to recognize us and invite us here. We ain't small at all. What do you call small? We have a lot of membership. If I can tell you as we speak right now, people, Zambians are calling to contest on our party ticket through the alliance partners.
Would you manage to stand alone as RPP?
Look,
and do you feel you could win?
Comrade, we cannot sit here and pretend and overrate ourselves. We are a growing political party. The fact that we are a growing political party is a reason why, through our understanding, it's better to subside the selfish interest and incorporate an institution that is bigger than you and work together for the betterment of the Zambian people. Because if you overrate ourselves, of course we have a vision at one time or the other to come and govern as an independent political party. But at this present time, the Zambian people want the opposition political parties
to unite.
Why is my time running low than than in my
Oh,
other
let
colleagues.
me add. Let me add.
The NAREP's time. There's biasness here.
All right.
Rigging has already started.
Gentlemen, of course, clearly the viewers who are watching now, of course, are seeing the timer on the screen, and this is what we are using to calculate the time. We're not being biased. We are just giving accurate time.
Just on a lighter note, yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's quickly get back to you, Mr. Cassius Akapelwa. All right. One of your members from the alliance did mention that they are not going to stand again this particular August 12th, 2021, and that is Mr. Cornelius Mweto, coming from the Choma Central, of course, as a member of parliament. Now, what he stated was he cannot continue to be an MP in a government where he termed as reckless, like PF. But isn't that contradicting if you're going to say that you don't want to stand as an MP, while you're saying that you want to push HH to be to be the president? Isn't that contradicting yourself?
No. In fact, if I do reckon well, he actually said, I cannot continue because he served 2 terms. Therefore, he would not, because he's been given a very pivotal role as a spokesperson.
Yes.
So, look, I think there's wisdom in his statement, because there he does not want to congest himself with a lot of roles. I think there's selflessness. That's what I would call it. He's done his 2 terms.
But for me specifically, it's a statement that he says that he doesn't want to be an MP where the government, like PF, is reckless. And he says that he wants to push HH into the office.
The main agenda there is, the main agenda here, according to my understanding of his statement, is that he cannot have dual roles, because as a spokesperson, he's so much involved. He's an intrapiece of tapping information and relating it to the people. Yet again, on the other side, it should be in contention for parliamentary. So basically, that statement for me demonstrates wisdom. Because look, the main issue there is that he's done his 10-year tenure. I mean, it's 2 terms as member of parliament. So, again, within the same light, his subjects within his constituency, they are dragging him through to say, we still need you here. So he's left room for negotiations, because if the people within his constituency still want him, be it, he has to coin down whichever formula that he has to use to recontest his seat.
Okay.
But his statement is attributed to say he's done 2 terms of office. He would rather exert his energy on making sure that the campaigns are heightened to focus on the presidency, who is the president, Hakainde Hichilema.
All right,
so for me, that is not contradictory at all.
All right. Let's quickly get to, I know you only have about 44 seconds.
Which is enough for me to talk, man.
Yes. Let's quickly get to the aspect of the cyber security and cyber crimes law now, which was signed by the president on Friday. Do you think this could be an instrument to kind of infringe on the fair and free elections in Zambia?
Comrade, we are all affected with that cyber security bill. Reasons are very basic. And I don't know why the president always rushes to signing these documents. Already paraded a lot of people together in the stadium and signed the constitution. Before time, only came to realize there were a lot of lacunas. What happened? Money lost. Again, they've quickly gone to ascend, signing a document that is going to infringe you and I, my right to express ourselves. Before anything that we might wish to say here, all these that they are trying to achieve are dictatorial tendencies, nothing else.
Could it be an indicator that the elections won't be free and fair?
We are already seeing that coming, comrade. It's another Uganda 2 formula. You know, surely.
Please wind up in 5
Yes,
seconds. Yes.
what is wrong I mean, cybersecurity. What is wrong with people getting to platforms where they could express themselves with, look, we're at the age where we should be able to easily communicate. We should be able to easily relate. We should be able to tap in information. We should be able to communicate. What is happening here? There's nothing else. We can only attribute it to dictatorial tendencies.
All right.
Not allowing citizens to express themselves and to have a viewpoint. And that, comrade, will affect you and me.
Thank you so much. Liberation, third liberation movement, your thoughts on the cybersecurity bill and it being an indicator of not having free and fair elections?
Precisely. Obviously, we won't have free and fair elections with that bill in place.
The law, actually, it's now law.
With that kind of law, yes, it's an act, eh?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's an act, the cyber security bill, or act in this case,
yes,
it's already law. That law is very, very unfair to us. As a third liberation movement, our position is that once we get into power, that will be the first thing to do away with or repeal, so that we can have a free and fair social media, free and fair media, so that people are allowed to express themselves. Let me touch also on the issue of the recklessness of the Patriotic Front in this case. The current government is very reckless. Vis-a-vis the Bank of Zambia is very reckless. The Drug Enforcement Commission is very reckless, in the sense that today we're having donations of 200,000 kwacha cash money. Cash money that is against the Financial Act, the Financial and the Regulations Act. That money should go through a bank, should be given in the form of a check or an electronic transfer into the donated party's account, so that we can easily follow how that money is being used. Who knows, maybe that money is being used to fund the thuggery that we are seeing through in the name of churches, in the name of empowerment of cooperatives. That's the thing that we are trying. That is also a recipe to unfree and fair elections. That's what we are having now. The challenge we've got here is we cannot speak out, we cannot debate as political parties, we cannot express our concerns in the name of the political party as the opposition. You can see today we are seeing ministers, members of parliament, cadres, political party sympathizers, political party aspiring candidates in the name of the Patriotic Front, dishing out money in an economy where you and myself cannot afford 100 kwacha on a daily basis. But you are seeing people donating 600,000 kwacha, 50,000 kwacha, 70,000 kwacha cash money. That is a variation of the financial system of our country. That's why I think things are very difficult. Everyone has got no buying power because the money is in cash in the hands of individuals who are members or sympathizers of the political party called the Patriotic Front, which is very, very unfair. So that on itself is the biggest recipe of unfree and fair elections. If there is an election that will never be free and fair, or not even 30% of it is this one, the 2021 one, it will be very difficult. That's why we cannot, us as a third liberation movement,
all right,
this situation, we
your
cannot
time
tolerate it.
is up. Thank you so much. Let's get to NAREP. Same question with you, the cybersecurity and cybercrimes law. Do you think it could be an indicator of not having free and fair elections?
100%.
Why?
The reasons are very simple. My able leader, Engineer Stephen Nyirenda, once elected, I don't think this is going to survive. One, there is a lot of insecurity. This one is very intimidating. No citizen will speak freely in this nation. And what does that do to democracy? The answers are very easy. One, if I cannot speak about that which I'm not happy about, for fear of being jailed, am I free in my own state? Not at all. This cyber security thing that has now come is meant to scrap all of us out, so that the bigger one, who is the PF, would continue with its activities. Because what we are seeing now and what we'll be able to see in the near future, I don't think it's something that we are going to live to like. There's so much that is happening out there. Right now, if you came to Chawama, speak negative about the ruling party, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of beatings would happen to you. I'm coming from that side, and I know what it is, and I know what it means. We live in fear. And then the introduction of cyber security has just made things worse for all of us, especially the opposition. We won't be able to speak. And what does that mean? The PF will market itself more and demarketing us. The platform for us is no longer there to do that which is needful in the interest of the nation. So this thing really is a bad thing. We don't like it, but yet it has been imposed on us. But we are going to make sure that we work accordingly. If some of us are going to be thrown into jails for doing that which is required, may it be so.
All right. No, thank you so much. My director is telling me that we are running out of time, but I'm going to ask you one question, and you're required to answer it in 15 seconds only. And I know you're politicians and you are public speakers, but please, let's try to keep within time, and let's try to be as accurate as possible. Now, Honorable Kampyongo, who is currently the Home Affairs Minister, did assure Zambia that we're going to have free and fair elections. But surprisingly, he won't be in office that time. Your reaction? 15 seconds, kindly. Mr. Evans Shawa from NAREP.
Mr. Kampyongo has failed us. From the beginning, he has failed to impress the Zambians. Whatever he's trying to preach, just because there are elections coming ahead, I don't think it's holding any water. These are the last kicks of a dying horse.
Your time is up. Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA from the Third Liberation Party. Your reaction?
That's not true. Because where we're coming from, he has failed to do anything to command the police. The people have been injured, nothing has, from the opposition parties. He has never done anything. The police has not done anything. So it's not there. And besides, he will not be in the office by that time.
Yes.
So the police will be given directive from the executive, which will be the only arm of the government that will be functioning at that time. And we've seen that.
Thank you so much. Lastly, Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, do you feel that Honorable Kampyongo was trying to trick the Zambians when he made that statement?
Well, that was a political statement. But what we want to get from ECZ is, can they invite foreign mission observers when the day that the campaigns shall kickstart? One. Secondly, why is it that they only, the second question is that why does ECZ only allow or rather invite foreign mission observers the day of voting? We want them when the campaign starts, from the start of the entire process. They should be involved so that they see the malpractices starting from the start, from the beginning, up to the end, the time of voting. That's our plea from the ECZ.
Comrade and gentlemen, for coming through to Blunt Talk, the fearless debate. And thank you so much to the viewers who are watching. We did have Mr. Evans Shawa, who is coming from NAREP, who is the Lusaka Province Treasurer. We did had Mr. Enoch Jones CHIKATULA, who is the Vice President of Third Liberation Movement. And we also did have Mr. Cassius Akapelwa, who is the Secretary General for the RPP, the Republican Progressive Party, who are in alliance with the UPND. Thank you so much for watching. We were talking, we were discussing the issue of indicators of having free and fair elections. My name is CHIKATULA, and of course, I want to appreciate my producer, Mr. Kelvin Tabula Chifokolo, for all the production work that he has done for us today. Thank you so much. Next week, we come back sometime, someplace, and all the best to Zambia as they face Zimbabwe.